Brian Kinney thinks you should break up the Padres. I think that's dumb. 5-2 on the road. A rise is amazing. We got a lot to talk about on this episode of Padres Talking Padres. Hey everybody, welcome to Padres Talking Padres. My name is Jay, and with me are two of my other favorite Padres that are Padre fans, Jerry and Mr. Gold Glove. Welcome.
All rise for a rise.
Indeed. Indeed. What a
You've been
breath
listening
of
too
fresh
much
air.
Mud Grant.
Huh?
He's been listening too much Mud Grant.
Oh gosh.
Seriously, I just thought of that. I'm not
I
kidding.
think he said it, and Don Orsillo went.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's Aaron Judge's thing, you know. So
Yes.
I mean, you know.
All rise.
Yeah.
I think he's saying because it's a rise.
No, I get it. But anywho, what a road trip. It's a shame we have to go play back at home where we have the worst or the most amount of losses at home this season. But on the road, we're kings. 5 for 2. We took 3 out of 4 from the Braves, a playoff contending team. And the Reds, who in a very similar situation beat us in extra innings, but we beat them in extra innings this time because we have a closer that actually, you know, will flex and pitch in spots to help us win.
It's called being a team player.
Yeah.
But here we are, feeling good. But then today, or like maybe before we won the last game of that Red series, Brian Kinney is going back to the I think the Padres and Cardinals and Red Sox and Mets, they should rebuild. You know, hey, it's only 5 years, but it'll be fine. They should rebuild because they're 500 and blah 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 blah. And it's really frustrating because one, I mean, he's kind of been popping off his mouth and hating on the Padres for a while now. For me, he lost all respect with the stupid Eargate thing from the Mets playoff series in 2022. But it's like he has a vendetta against this team, and he's on the Major League Baseball's network television channel talking about breaking up the Padres. What are your thoughts on this angle from Brian that he's still going to when all intents and purposes, the Padres are third in a last wild card playoff spot? Jack, what's your thoughts on this?
Guy, just blow it out his ear. I mean, I'm trying to keep it clean here. Padres have the second best attendance in baseball. Yep. This city has been through a few fire sales, a bunch of dump salary things, and I mean, a long history of bad ownership and bad mistakes and bad this, that. No. Who wants to wait another 5 years? I mean, again, who's going to take Machado's contract? Nobody. Exactly. Who's going to take Bogart's contract? Nobody. Who's going to take someone would probably take Suarez, but Darvish, Musgrove. So you're still going to still have those guys on the team. What are you going to do to rebuild? You have Merrill. You have Merrill, who's young. Cronenworth, who's 27, 28, maybe 29. He's still pretty young. You got young players on the team. Tatis is just turned 25. I see no need to rebuild.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't make any sense. Jerry, where do you side on this Brian Kinney hit job?
I think it's just typical media. You know, they're just trying to start something or talking points and everything. I think there was a few things that irritated me about it. One, Jack pointed out, it's like, hey, we got long-term contracts with these guys. There's no such thing as like they're all of a sudden going to be able to fire sell these guys. That's number one.
Yeah.
And number two, I get irked every time I hear about how educated the Boston fans and the New York fans are.
I know.
And blah 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 blah, and I just get sick of it. I like, what are we just about? We don't know anything about baseball in San Diego. The bottom line is I'm not ready for a rebuild, and I don't see a reason for one. I think we talked about it a lot at the beginning of the season. If Preller sticks to this model, I think we're just fine. Mm-hmm. We are somewhat, I would call it, stable but rebuilding. You know,
Yes.
we got Merrill. You know, I know we talked about talking about the closer Suarez, who's been awesome.
Yeah.
But how about Jeremiah Estrada and what
Oh,
he's doing? So, you know, you
Oh
got to
yeah.
give these
5
guys a
strikeouts.
chance. Yeah, you got to give a chance for some of these guys to work their way in. You know, we got a lot
And
of young
Estrada's only
players that are
26,
contributing.
right?
You know, yeah. So
He's young.
I just talk. It's the typical media hogwash where they're just trying to start something. It does not apply to teams that
You
are
said
at
that about
500. It
hogwash.
applies to It applies to teams that are at 40 games below. That's
Yeah.
when you start saying, okay, we need to rebuild. Look,
The
Chicago White
the
Sox.
Cardinals should probably they were bad last year and they're off to a bad start this year.
Well,
So
one of
yeah,
the
I
few
could see them.
problems with the Cardinals is their farm system's not panning out like it usually does. And
Yeah.
God forbid, here's a team that's been perennial playoff contenders for like 40 years, and they're having a couple of bad years. You know, it's not like everybody's going to say, oh, well, the Cardinals suck now. You know, the bottom line is they're going through a little bit of a slow period, so to speak. But again, this is an organization that's dependent on their farm system, and I quite honestly would love to emulate what they're doing year after year. You're going to strike out every once in a while, not to use the baseball terminology, but every once in a while, you're not going to get guys that pan out like you thought they would. It happens.
Yeah.
But to me,
I
having a
at one point,
stable
remember what
of
decade it was,
Darvish
but
and
they had like
Musgrove
17.
and
Well, wait, let Jerry finish this thought here, and then we'll get your
having
response.
the
Okay.
stableness of having Musgrove and Darvish
Okay.
Yeah.
and Tatis and all those guys, that's the foundation you build on. But to break
Yeah.
that up right now makes no sense. And number two, it's not going to happen because these guys got no trade clauses.
Yep. Exactly.
Well, they got no trade
exactly.
clauses,
And
and
Jack,
they
what's your
got
thought?
huge.
Go ahead.
They have huge contracts. Well, I was going to
Yeah.
say about the Padres at one point. I can't remember what decade it was, but they went like 17 years where they're number one. The Cardinals having a rough couple year stretch. Okay.
Yeah.
Have had this. They were saying I knew this. We got some good young. We got some good players, solid players, and we have young players coming up the pipeline. And we just got Arise, who's I forgot he's young too.
He's 27.
Can hit like there's no tomorrow. So there's a lot of talent on this team. They just need to put it together.
Yeah. And they've obviously shown that they can do that. It's just now somewhere along the line they got to make it longer.
Yeah.
You know, I was looking up the 30-day stats. Had them on my computer, and let me just kind of read off a few of these things because right now in the last 30 days, Bogart's 244, Merrill 231, Tatis 224, Campusano 222, Hassan Kim 202, Manny Machado 200.
Yeah.
You can't keep doing that.
Mm-mm.
And that's 30 days. That's not just a sample size of
Sure.
the last 7 weeks or last week. That's 30 days. So until some of that gets rectified, it's not the one player because every player is going to go through a stretch where they're going to have a bad month, not just a week, but a bad month. But when 6 of your starters are hitting under 200, Ariz and Profar and Cronenworth and guys like that, they can't keep holding up this team. You've got to get it from everybody.
Yeah.
And when they do, this is an offensive juggernaut.
Yeah.
They've got plenty. They got plenty to go around, so to speak. And I think the telltale sign to me was shocking to me that Arise has got 31 hits, I believe it is. 31 hits, and has only scored 9 runs. That tells you what's going on behind.
Yeah.
So I'm going to jump forward and I'm going to say the same thing we said last week about Machado. And sure enough, what was it, Jack? The next game, Machado went down to 5th. I think they got to do the same thing with Tatis. Get him out of the number 2 hole. Put him down the lineup a little bit. Give him a chance to breathe, whatever. But that's shameful that a guy that's hitting 400 in the last month has scored 9 runs out of 31 hits. That's not good.
I think
some walks mixed in there too.
That's a fair point. I will say, but Fernando has been showing signs that he's kind of coming out of the slump lately. He's hitting the ball hard. He's kind of had batted ball luck the whole season.
He's still striking out too much.
He is. far too much.
But Jay, you say that though, it's not like I'm saying bench the guy. I'm
Sure,
just
sure,
saying
yeah.
just move him down the lineup, because you want to get a flow going to the lineup. And I would say that about any player. And I got to think that for Machado, maybe it took a little bit of pressure off of him because
Yeah.
now, granted the last month he's hitting 200, but over the last week he's hitting some hard luck, but he's also had some big hits too. So, Manny's going to come out of it. And when he does, then you move him up to number 4 again, I think that's where you got to play with the lineup a little bit.
Right now,
and
I like the flipping.
Schultz sounds like that's what he's all about. Whether it's defensive placement or offensive placement, he sounds like he's an in the moment guy. Yes. And I like that. He's not stuck in the mud.
Yep. He's got I think he's got a good feel for it. I was trying to find this thing on Twitter that I read today, and it was showing weighted runs. I think it's what WRC plus by position. And the Padres they don't have anybody ranked in the bottom 5 for any position. They're first for left field Profar.
Right.
And they're third for first base. Our favorite first baseman, Jake Cronenworth, is third out of all position, out of everybody at first base. And then everybody we're all in the 10s and above. I think catcher's like 21. But all things being equal, even with all of our right-handers struggling, from a weighted offense and production standpoint, our whole team's pretty solid. And Jerry, to your point, if the right-handers start hitting, we'll kind of have a balanced lineup, because the original topic for this episode was going to be we can't hit lefties, and it's simply because our right-handed hitters aren't hitting. Tatis isn't hitting, Machado's not hitting, Bogarts wasn't hitting, Kim's not hitting. So if your righties can't hit, it's going to be a tough time against the lefties. That's what you have them there for.
Which I don't know I think said it before, these guys study film. And the one thing that we know, and I will point out to Tatis and Machado, you throw it low and outside and they'll swing at it.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be within 6 inches of the plate.
Yeah.
So, these guys aren't stupid. They study film. Look at what Colorado did to Michael King. He'd had a great outing, and they studied film and realized that he was, trying to get ahead every pitch, first pitch, and they knew it. So they just killed him on first pitch. And he admitted, he goes, yeah, I got to learn. They were waiting for me.
Yeah.
So,
we've talked about Tatis a couple times, and like we mentioned with Bogarts, how he was letting the first pitch go down. It was the best pitch. Well, Tatis, with his first pitch swinging, pitchers know they don't have to throw him a good pitch. So he's already got one strike in. And like you said, they could roll it up there on the outside corner. He's going to swing at it. I mean, it just you sit there and go, oh my God, why do we keep doing this? And also I think with guys because Grant, when he was talking about Arise today, what was it? Arise today. He said, oh, he just goes with the pitch. What a concept. And that's a knock at your team, because again, if they would just go with like Manny with the first inning, he went with the pitch and got a 2-run double, right? Yeah. He just went with the pitch, nice and smooth. And that's their problem at Petco. If they again, how many home runs did we have on the road this series? 7 games.
Not 3? Many.
Yeah,
but we scored a lot. But we had games where we scored a lot of runs. Yeah. Why? Base hits.
They are bought into that idea, but maybe.
But that's how they have to play at Petco.
No, I agree. But they've called their whole hitting approach this season their Petco Park approach. It just hasn't worked at Petco so far. Obviously, but so they are trying as a team collectively trying to do it. I think for our sluggers like Tatis and Machado, not really Kim, but and Bogarts, they are bought into that idea as well, because there's stats that show when they were showing the swing speeds that kind of made its way on the internet, that all of them, including Tatis and Machado, we're having a 2-strike approach, like slowing down their swing to try and make contact. But maybe it's just taking them longer to figure that out versus the left-handers. Well, Arise was already doing that anyway. But for Crony and Merrill, and I guess that's it. We don't have too many left-handers. Peralta now, who had 3 hits today, by the way. I thought the guy was washed. Profar, thank you. But dominant to the left, I think, right? Profar is better left than right.
He's a much better hitter left-handed than right-handed. Normally, I don't know what it is this year,
but Jay, to your point, so maybe that there is the point. I think you're right. The 2-strike approach has gotten better. The problem is that Machado and Tatis in particular, and Bogarts when he was playing, are getting 2 strikes after 2 pitches.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm not being sarcastic or facetious, but it really is about starting the count off wrong, whether you're taking a pitch right down the middle or whether you're swinging at one that's low and outside, and it's like, hey, I know it's the first pitch, but you don't have to swing at it if it's bad. And yes, you can swing at it if it's good. Again, none of us play baseball. It's not always that simple.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is that when you're a fan and you see the same trends game after game after game, you do wonder, are you thinking any differently when you get up there than the last time you were up there, because that didn't work and the time before it didn't work? You know, baseball, as they always say, is a game of adjustments, and those who adjust well play well.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in today's baseball world, any sports world, where you have analytics, you have people. Back when we were playing Little League, Jerry, we didn't even have who had a movie camera. Anybody? No, your swing, you just had to go by somebody telling you this is what you're doing. I go, well, hopefully they know what they're doing. They could be giving me wrong advice, which was always the case whenever I got it out. It was always the wrong advice. But no, seriously. I mean, nowadays you can watch your swing. You can do that. I mean, there's so much. I mean, I could take a phone out and just do.
I mean, Tony Gwynn pioneered it, but it's unreal the amount of stuff.
But I'm saying, but if you start a trend, again with Tatis swinging at the first pitch, okay, like you said, Colorado knew that King wanted to get ahead, likes to get ahead, and was throwing the ball over the middle. Bam, 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 bam. Yeah. It doesn't. That was one game that they faced him, and so when you have a whole month of Tatis doing the same thing over and over and over again, it makes it easy. I mean, the guy for the Dodgers, it's not Pages, but it's Pagua the rookie.
Pages. I think the G is
Pages. That's what it is.
H.
Pages. Now he was on fire. Then they learned that he doesn't take a walk. He swings at everything. Well, look at him now. Yeah. He's going down. Why? Because you don't have to throw him a strike.
Yeah.
Word just had to get out that he'll swing at everything.
Yeah, some of the best hitters.
I could going down the drain.
Yeah, I could be misquoting who this is, but I believe it was Keith Hernandez, and it was something like a 16-1 game that they were ahead and everything, and he went up there, and somehow it got into a conversation. His response was, "I never want to give it a bat away. I never ever want to give it a bat away.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Right?
I don't care what I don't want to give it a bat away." And so the mental grind of hitting is just as much there as it is for the physical parts of it. You just have to go up every time, reset, and just say, I don't want to give this a bat away.
Yeah.
Because I know, again, I did play a lot of softball, state tournaments, things like that. And if you went up thinking you were going to do something, you were already done. You're already done.
Mm-hmm.
You had to wait for the pitch to come in before you decided what you were going to do. And every bat I predetermined, I was going to try to hit it over the left fielder's head, or I was going to try to hit a grounder between first and second. If the pitch didn't fit the what I was trying to do, well, then it just ended up being a pop fly or a ground out,
Yeah.
So it's very difficult. You get the 162 game season. I think that's what a lot of these guys maybe need to refocus. And they're professionals. And so you think when it gets bad enough, some of them will start rethinking. I got to tell you, though, on that note, was anybody happier than Fernando Tatis when he hit that double?
Oh,
did you see his reaction at second base?
I was driving.
It was like he was shedding some weight on his shoulders.
Big time.
Because he hasn't been hitting well, but he also hasn't had a clutch hit in a long time. And
I think since
mean,
that
I could
Cubs
physically
comeback, I
see
think.
him
Yeah.
just kind of like, yeah, oh God, yeah, like I
Yes.
finally got one,
Yeah.
and that's good. Hopefully that
Absolutely.
feeling gives him a good plane ride home, and he says, okay, I like that feeling. Let's do
Mhm.
that some more because
Yeah.
we
Well,
need
again,
his energy.
yeah, because once you get in a slump, it's hard. It's hard to get out of because you start thinking because you're saying you can't be thinking about doing this. Well, you can't help but think, Jesus, I haven't had a hit with a runner on base and 30 at bats. I got people are bashing me. They're saying, "Oh, the whole steroid thing." The whole.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming that's what he's got to be thinking, and obviously we forget that the steroids he wasn't playing. So I think it's the 3 surgeries have taken a toll on him, and he's got to come back from that. He's got to rebuild. But like I said, we need his energy. The Rise has a lot of energy. He's a spark plug.
Yeah.
You put him back to back with Tatis. That's a lot. That's a lot of energy going through the team. And it's Kevin John Jefferson back with the Chargers.
Yeah, I think you're right. I golf a lot. You guys know that, and so I was playing golf.
What'd you
today,
shoot today?
I shot 78 today.
Oh,
wasn't
On
bad.
9 holes?
Wasn't great.
That's solid.
Yeah.
Wait.
But anyways,
wait. No, the important question is: did you run over a police officer?
Oh,
no, I did not. No.
Okay, all right.
What was his name?
Yeah.
I forget.
Scotty. Yeah, Scotty.
Yeah.
Number 1 player in the world.
the thought being is that when I was playing with one of my regular playing partners I've known for about 40 years, and we talk a lot about the attitude of golf. It's not just we talk about the clubs and the this and that and everything, but a lot of it is that when you are in a slump, to Jack's point, when you're in a slump, the first thing you got to do is get rid of the negative thoughts. When you're going well, you're thinking, I'm going to hit it right by the pin. I'm going to hit it, over in that quadrant. When you're going bad, you're like, oh, I hope I hit the green. I hope I hit the green with this shot. And when you start chunking or you start blading or slicing, you have to get that out of your mind, because if that's in your mind, you will do it, or you'll do the exact opposite. Well, the same thing with baseball. I mean, it's no different. With a pitcher, if they lose their confidence, they're just grooving pitches because they can't feel like they can't hit a corner.
Yeah.
If you're a hitter, you're swinging at everything because you're afraid, you're gonna miss a fastball, and so you're gonna just swing at anything that comes up there because it's. So I think some of it is mental, and I think they really need to have a continuance of this run, 5-2, against one really good team, and one that's got young players that has been good and has got a lot of injuries on it. They need to come into Petco, and they need to do the same thing with the Yankees and the Marlins that they did on the road. And I personally think that if they could do that, if they could do a 4-2, a 5-1, they could get this train rolling. I think you'll start seeing, hopefully, the real Padres come up. Yeah. Yeah.
But
I thought that was funny that he included it. The last remark on that is these other clubs, Boston is 2 games over 500, and the Padres at that time were 500. And I'm like, why are you talking about these 2 teams? Like St. Louis, I get, but why are you including these 2 teams? Yeah, they're on their.
And another thing with slumps for a Major League Baseball player, they got 50,000 people watching them live. They got social media. They got you have people watching on TV. It's like, okay, if you're slumping at golf, it's just your friend seeing you, right? Yeah. So it's one less thing you have to worry about. I think Tatis will come around. I think Manny was still dealing with that injury. He's starting to cut. I mean, defensively, he made that amazing play the other day. It's like, and it was effortless. They just,
there's no better. I'm sorry. Yeah. Or Arenado may have won the Gold Glove however many years and everything. There's no better than Machado.
Yeah, agreed.
Machado, he's just so damn smooth.
Anyway, his arm is just unbelievable. I mean, he could be effortless. 5 feet. He could be 5 feet into left field under the foul ground and throw it like I was trying to throw it 10 feet.
Yeah.
And he throws it all the way across, 127 feet across, and he just it looks like he just flips the ball. And it's straight as an arrow and gets there in plenty of time. Unbelievable.
No, we're lucky to have him. I mean, it's just like I said, we need another shortstop, but
Well, but it is wild because I'm sure you've all seen that. I see it all the time where it's the Oakland Coliseum because of the way the diamond was when the football field was out and they had the yards. It's like it would be a 60-70 yard football pass or whatever, and just seeing the distance between third and first makes what Manny does so effortlessly, like, incredible, absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I coached one of my son's junior league, and went out there and we practiced and everything. And you go stand on third base, and you look across at first, and you're like, "Holy crap, that is one heck of a long throw."
Yeah,
most of these teenagers can't even make it without having a big old arch on it, And again, he's just amazing.
He goes really into the foul line, so it's even more distance. And
the thing is, it's not like he's winding up either. I mean, he's literally just taking the one regular step forward and flipping it. It's not like he's just like running up to it.
Yeah, exactly.
The play he made the other night, because I did a video on it, he's throwing to first base before he's even turned around.
Yeah. Exactly.
So he's just like, it's like, okay, it's going to go to first base. Woo! And I was like going,
knows where it's at.
And again,
that's 13 years of experience,
And you look at a guy like that makes a play like that, and you go, what's the big deal? The big deal is nobody else can make that play.
Yeah,
there's only a few third basemen that can make that play, but he makes it look too easy.
Yeah,
we didn't talk about the Ellie De La Cruz out at home, right?
I was on the golf course, so I did not see it except for a quick replay. But I understand that Machado made a heck of a play.
Oh, is that the one where he was out by like 3 feet or something?
Well, so Ellie De La Cruz, I think he stole second, then stole third.
Yeah,
and
the
ball was thrown to Machado. He tries to like tag him as Ellie De La Cruz is coming down, but Ellie De La Cruz, beat him out for the throw and stole third. And Manny's always being very, he talks and laughs or whatever to the other players when they get to his bag. But you could tell there was a little bit of just like, all right, you beat me this time, whatever. But then the Reds try to pull off a double steal of home and a steal of second. It wasn't a double steal. I'm sorry. It was run on contact. So Ellie was running on contact no matter what. So it was a grounder to third. And Manny just plays it perfect, runs, grabs, throws home. Even though Ellie is lightning fast, the throw beats Ellie, and Higgy puts the tag down, and Ellie De La Cruz is out at home. But then as Ellie gets up and walk away, Machado has this little like smirk smile at him, like, I got you that time. It was awesome. It was awesome.
I did not see that play.
Well, Ellie De La Cruz reminds me of R. Jurickson Profar. Very you can't help but like the guy.
Yeah,
he's so talented, right?
Yeah.
But the similar thing happened when the first game of the series, when he hit one to Tatis down the line, and Tatis threw it, and De La Cruz got up and went.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
and you could see they showed Tatis.
Anyone else would have been out.
Yeah.
But he was smiling, like, you got there in front of it, but not by much. But you got there in front of it. So. Yeah, a lot of these guys have a lot of friendly banter, so to speak. A lot of respect, obviously,
exactly.
So, we found that out even a couple of years ago when I admit I didn't know it, but Freddie Freeman and Tatis were like this, and you're like, no, that's a Dodger. That's a Dodger. You're not supposed to be friendly with a Dodger, but it was his son. But it was his favorite player. Yeah.
It started when he was with the Braves.
It did start when he was with the Braves. Because, but what's funny is though, this past Dodger series, I think Tatis hit a single or something, so he's at first, and then Freddie gives Tatis a big hug. They give each other a big hug at first base. And like I think it was on Twitter, maybe Facebook or something. It's like, why is he giving Freddie Freeman a hug? He's a Dodger. He should hate him. Blah 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 blah. And it's just like
It's not Max Muncy.
But not only that,
let's get the real one in there. It's not Joe Kelly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Because if anybody hugs Joe Kelly, then you're stupid.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. The guy's a jerk.
big old headhunter that gets all
Yeah.
gets all proud of it because he threw it at somebody's head at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Where he
A
doesn't
guy
have to
that-
bat
a
anymore.
guy that should be banned from baseball, as far as I'm concerned, for how many times he's done
Agreed.
it.
I agree. And nothing's done about it, but whatever.
He's a Dodger.
But
they have their own
but
set
to
of
me, I appreciate. I get it. Like,
Yeah.
I hate the Dodgers and I hate Max Muncy. But there's also like, they respect each other and they can be friends even if they're on teams that like
and
Mookie Betts.
I guarantee you that they want to beat the other team.
Absolutely.
It has nothing to do with being.
Yeah.
Now, I played softball and Jack was on my team. We played my old team.
Mhm.
I still love those guys, but it's like, no, but while I'm out on the field, I want to beat you.
Yeah.
To be fair, I hated most of the players on our team.
But
I don't want to see Jerry was part of it.
But it's also it's just, to me, it's good sportsmanship. It's just it's
a different.
I want to
like
beat you, but we're
again,
human to human. We're fine.
If my dad was still alive and we had him on the podcast, he'd probably be disagreeing with everything we're saying because it was old. But back then, remember, players didn't have freedom. They didn't.
Well, they didn't have social media either, and
but they didn't have. There was no free agency back in the day. So players, when you got on a team, unless you sucked, you were going to stay on that team until you retired.
Right.
So you did, and plus the managers, it was old school. He's like, you have to hate your opponent. You have to hate.
Yeah.
Again, I like what Jerry's saying. If I'm playing hockey against you and you could be my wife, I'm gonna do everything I can to stop you.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I can to stop you. Once the game's over, okay, we can go back to loving each other.
Yeah.
It's just
but yeah, I think anyway, it was a cool moment in the game. But all right, let's talk about Arise. He's batting .419 since joining the Padres. He's at .340 overall now.
Is there, because there were a lot of people.
They think he's gonna be Adam Frazier. They gotta be
Padre Twitter. That was I think we talked about it because I think we recorded the day of the trade, right?
I think so.
And I go, I'm just not seeing why we're hating this trade. I don't get it. I did, because every now and then you look at a trade going, this one was like, all right, this guy can hit.
Yeah,
this guy gets on base. This is what we need.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, now he had 2 4-hit games back to back.
2 4-hit games back to back. 8 games in a row of multiple hits.
He had a home run, which I thought,
first ever, I believe they said.
First ever home run or what?
No, first ever
back-to-back
player to have multiple hits 8 games in a row.
No.
No. Matt Mattingly did it.
Well, yeah.
Right?
I got the stats. For the Padres, Tony Gwynn has done it and Machado has done it. But do you know the Padre that actually did it 9 times in a row? 9 games in a row.
John Jay.
Benny Kruk?
Nope.
John Jay.
He also won a batting title for the Padres.
Oh, Gary Sheffield.
Gary Sheffield has the Padre record, 1992.
Okay. I must have saw something because I thought they were saying that was a record to get to 8. Anyway, yeah, he's a fantastic find. He plays a heck of a second base. I think he's like Gold Glove material.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Jack?
Hold on. All right, hold on.
Hey, let's get it out there because that's what it's all about. Let's get it out there.
That last comment stinks.
So, for those of you that listen to us regularly, our buddy, Mr. Gold Glove, seems to think that Cronenworth should be playing second base instead of first base,
like
where
he did.
He's easily probably on his way to a Gold Glove. But let's move him to second base, even though we've got 3 other guys that can play second base very well, and we have no other first baseman.
Let's talk about this. All right. So Jerry has brought up the subject. I will try to be an arbiter of this conversation between you two. Okay. But I will say I agree with Jerry on this one. Why if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. But I will say defensively, Arise, not great defensively. Well known for not being great defensively, even though he did a pretty good job the past few games he was playing second base. So Jerry has said that opinion. Jack, what's your rebuttal
Well,
to
first,
why Cronenworth should say it first?
Okay, take Kim out of the equation. Who's the best second baseman on the team?
Jay Cronenworth.
Okay,
I'm not disagreeing with that.
He has the floor. He has the floor, Jerry.
He was asking a question. I answered it.
I think it was rhetorical, but go ahead.
Profar can play first base, and he does a pretty good job at first base. He's a pretty decent first baseman. You put Peralta in left field, maybe put a Zokar out there, whatever. But you have Cronenworth at second. You want to be strong up. Do you want to be strong up? This is a serious question. Do you want to be strong up the middle?
Yeah, of course you do. But I want to be strong at first base too.
How many games have we lost because the Padres couldn't turn a double play? I mean, it's a lot. Several. Okay?
Lost? I mean, we lost a few double plays, but lost games?
We lost games because they didn't.
That feels hyperbolic. I'm going to say it feels hyperbolic, but go ahead.
Also what happens when you don't turn a double play, the inning goes longer. What happens? The pitcher has to throw more pitches. And the pitch count is huge nowadays. Who's the best double play combination in baseball? Kim and Cronenworth work as one. They're amazing. So you have Cronenworth, who would probably rather play second base anyway. Put Profar at first. He can play first base. You can put a Rise up every now and then. You could put Solano there every now and then. But put Cronenworth. That's where he should have been at second base the whole time anyway. That's where he should have been, at second base. Kim, Cronenworth up the middle. Merrill up the middle. Campusano's decent. But that gives you that's a Gold Glove. I mean, that's just a great defensive infield. Cronenworth, like I said it right away. I go, I hate that Bogarts got hurt, but I said to you guys right away, I said, scoot him over. And what happened today? Cronenworth was at where? Second base.
Jerry, in your rebuttal to what Jack just put
I don't know if we got enough time. We can just agree to disagree. The bottom line is...
I'll give you a little bit of time here. He spoke a lot.
So here's the deal. My feeling is what's better for the team. And the team right now needs Cronenworth at first base. That's his regular position now. He's made plenty of saves to make up for those supposed losses of double plays we didn't make by being as agile as he is at first base. The other thing is this is just me personally. I don't like switching people around positions time after time. I think you need
Cindy Lauper does.
I think you really need to get solid in positions. And so to me, totally realigning the defense just because one guy's out, I just don't think makes sense. And the bottom line is you also got Tyler Wade, who's a very good defensive player. We've got plenty of people that can play second base. And I would argue a little bit about the Kim Cronenworth being the perfect double play because I don't think they played double play combinations last year except for a few times because Bogarts was the regular shortstop all last year.
No, year before.
Because Cronenworth was primary second baseman 21 and 22.
Yeah.
And Kim was...
Was Kim the regular... He was
because Tatis was hurt, and I think he did it
out all year.
22, yeah, and 22 when he was out all year,
yeah. Anyway,
they played great.
But philosophically, I do still hold my opinion that we're better off with Cronenworth staying at first base.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm saying that Cronenworth is probably going to go back to second base.
Well, and again, your point is valid. Jack, I will give you that. He is both the best first baseman and the best second baseman.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
I just don't think unless Preller goes and gets a first baseman, because at the beginning of the year, I think all three of us would agree. If there was one thing that Preller didn't do was go out and get a first baseman.
Right.
I didn't really like Garrett Cooper, but he had a pretty good pass. I'm thinking, or Josh Bell or something. Go get us somebody who normally plays first base. And I think we're solid, Well, we didn't do that. Well, the first thing to me was, well, then you got to put Bogarts over at first. Well, that didn't happen. So to me, let's just go ahead and put Cronenworth at first base.
No, he's a great defensive, but he's
Yeah.
just great defensively. He could play.
Right.
In fact, earlier when we were during spring training, I said, why not put him in left?
Yeah.
Before we
Yeah.
signed Profar.
Well,
and
he's
you
one
play-
of those. I mean, I think that's what Preller had in mind when he signed all these shortstops and everything. And you got to give him a little bit of credit because it is somewhat true. Shortstops can play about any position. Merrill's proven it. Kim can play anywhere in the infield. Heck, even Arise can play. I mean, he played first base. I mean, so
Yeah.
you got a bunch
Well,
of
he's played
guys that
quite
can
a few games
play
there.
anywhere. Well, he's
Now-
the what do they call it? The handy switchblade or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Or the
Swiss
he
Army
can-
knife.
Swiss Army
Thank
knife.
you, Swiss Army knife. And to have all those guys, that's great. But I still go back to, I would still rather just have a solid infield and maybe one position be maneuvering.
But thinking, okay, I was going through some trades, and we could trade for Pete Alonso, put him at first base. That would probably be an upgrade. Vladimir Guerrero, people have been talking about, but the one I thought was okay, the most reasonable one for the Padres, Justin Turner. Toronto's tanking. You could probably get him for just a low throwaway. Guys,
But he's not a first baseman.
He played first base for the Dodgers.
He is mostly third base, though. I mean,
Mostly third base.
and I get it. I'm not nixing any trades. If it makes sense, it makes sense. But yeah, I'm with Oz. It's like
Oz says yuck.
Okay, look at it this way, Oz and Jerry. What's going to piss the Dodgers off? Us trading for Justin Turner.
What do we got?
Dodger fans would be pissed.
You know what though? I'm going to say this out loud. I don't care about the Dodgers.
But I think
no. But my point being is, it's reality, guys. We are not chasing the Dodgers. We're chasing a playoff spot. And I feel that way every year.
I'm chasing the Dodgers.
I don't care who it is in front of us. To me, we're right now in the number 6 slot. I want to get to the number 5 slot, the number 4 slot, 3, 2, 1. I just want to get to the playoffs. So I'm not worried about the Dodgers, because the bottom line is right now we have the winning part of that formula. So we need to quit worrying about the Dodgers, and let's just worry about some of these sub 500.
I'm saying more the Dodger fans because it would piss them off, and nothing's better than angry Dodger fans.
Yeah.
But no, Justin Turner, he's a winner. He knows how to play. I mean, if we could get Justin Turner, I'd trade for him in a second.
Well,
and I disagree. I that's not who I would go for. I think there's better.
Well, obviously,
who do you go for, Jerry? Who do you go for?
Well, I just think number one, we're not going to be in position to give anybody anything worth anything right now. I really do truly believe that. I think that's the way we are set up this year. Even though Florida took the monetary part of the Rise deal, I still don't think that Preller's just got a ton of money sitting out there. And quite honestly, I don't want to gut our farm system anymore at all. I think we've kind of hit we've still got the really good players in the farm system. We're out of middle guys. And I don't want to trade any more of our big guys.
I agree, but I'm just saying a guy like Justin Turner wouldn't cost you a thing. They just
why are you so obsessed with Justin Turner?
Yeah, I
wanted Justin Turner.
He was a great player for the Dodgers. Don't get me wrong, but he's not what he used to be.
He had a great year with Boston last year. He was on my fantasy team. He was on my fantasy team. I was like,
but do you want to get a guy that's probably going to hit 220 and maybe smack a few home runs? You know what? I think we got a half of a lineup like that right now.
Okay, his current stats.
He's terrible right now.
100. Well, don't try and downplay it. This is your savior
I know.
for the Padres this year.
No, we don't need him as a savior.
Yeah,
he hits.
I don't know. Seemed like you're saying.
Is he going to be better than putting a Rise at first base or Profar at first base?
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's just go through these stats and see if this is trade worthy material. Okay. 143 at bats, 18 runs, 33 hits, 4 home runs, 17 RBIs, 0 stolen bases, 4 batting average of 231, on base percentage of 309, and an OPS of 687. I think that's officially.
We want to go. You want to go with what he hit last year?
Yeah, but it's not last year.
This year.
This is a guy. This is a guy.
276.
What is it?
RBIs.
What is it? What is he now? 38, or is he going on? Or is he going on 50?
He's 39.
He's 30. He's born in 1984. He's older than me. That's ancient in baseball years.
He's 39. That's right. You're 40.
Yeah.
I'm still
I'll
39.
take a pass
I'm
on that
85,
one.
baby.
All right. I threw it out there.
I think that I think if the Padres are going to do any upgrading at all, it's still going to be the same old song that everybody sings every year: bullpen depth.
And then maybe another starting pitcher.
I don't think there's one out there that you're going to get, for what we need. You're not going to get an ace. I don't think there's one that's going to be viable to go get that you're not going to have to pay somebody really big for. Usually and hopefully we don't go to the depths of past years and go get Arrieta at the end of his road and Rich Hill last. It's just like we don't need that. The big thing is that there's no doubt our 4 and 5 have got to get better. Michael King has shown, and Waldron has shown that they can fit up here. I think Waldron did a great job considering he didn't look like he had his best stuff. Still gave 6 innings, 2 runs.
Again, like I said in the chat, tell him it's the 3rd inning.
Yeah,
it's
Yeah.
the 1st inning.
bit.
No, it's the 3rd inning.
but some great
pitchers.
pitchers have had that problem. I mean,
Yeah.
all the Atlanta pitchers.
Yeah.
Tom Glavine used to just absolutely stink in the 1st inning, and they tried everything. But I think that they need to get more to the manageable range of the roller coaster. Because right now, King especially, 10 strikeouts, no earned runs. Then the next time out, it's 5 walks, 3 home runs, 4 innings, and 8 runs.
If there's anyone that's a poster child for the Padres and how their season's been going, it's King.
Yeah, he's got greatness in him. But it keeps being brought out though, guys. This guy's 1st-year starter. This is not, he's learning on the go, and so, I really do with guys like him and Waldron. I try to sit back and say, what's it like to have only pitched, 20 games in the big leagues as far as a starter? Like, that's like being an infant,
Yeah.
And you go to guys like Yu Darvish. I don't know if you guys heard this one, but Yu Darvish, who's just like a student of the game. I mean, this guy is just like all over it. He's always on the iPad and looking and everything. And they were talking about how he was sitting there behind Dylan Cease and our pitching coach,
Ruben Nabla.
Nabla, comes up to him and he goes, "Hey, Dylan, come over here and show you how you hold this pitch and everything." And so he goes over and shows him and kind of how goes through how he throws and everything. And I guess about a week later, Cease is doing an interview and they're talking about that, and he goes, "Yeah. And now he throws it better than I do."
I heard that. I think it was when they were doing a interview with him in the dugout.
And it's true, because those are the guys I appreciate. I don't get me wrong. Who doesn't like a Suarez or a Estrada that comes in and throws it 100 miles an hour? Yeah, how can you not like that, right? But I like pitchers. I like guys who use wits, who think about it. When Greg Maddux was with the Padres for a couple of years, I loved watching him pitch. Guy topped out at like 88 miles an hour and just threw few pitches. Yeah, I mean, the guy would be through 7 innings and he'd thrown 60 pitches.
Yeah.
And
again, so, I know I've said this before. He never mentioned the pitcher by name, but it had to be Peavy. I keep telling this guy he doesn't have to strike everybody out because Peavy was always done like the 5th or 6th inning. He was gassed.
Yeah. And he learned how to pitch. I mean, a lot of young pitchers do that. I mean, it's not uncommon for young pitchers to think, I'm just going to throw it by him. I'm going to throw it by him.
Yeah.
And part of that is they've come through the single A and the double A and the triple A, and they've overwhelmed people.
Well, back then, also the pitch count wasn't that huge of deal. Where now, if you strike a lot of guys out, that's a lot of pitches you're throwing.
Yeah.
And your pitch count is like, I watched the pitch count from the start. I go, crap, he's at 25 pitches like Cease. I go, he's going to have a good inning next inning to go 5 or 6 innings. But anyway.
Well, I will say
Can
this.
He play second?
I mean, for the long run here this season, and tell me if I'm wrong here, but our starting pitchers have done a pretty admirable job of getting at least 5 innings every start.
Yeah.
I can't think. When was the last time one of our pitchers got yanked before the 5th inning? I mean, I'm serious. I can't
Musgrove
remember.
on.
That was That's only because he's coming back from his injury.
Hey, you asked.
Yeah, no, I know it, but what I'm saying is the healthy guys that because Darvish only went 5 his first time because of a pitch count too. But I'm talking about though the reliability of the pitchers getting innings. So what does that mean? What happened last year as we it got towards the end of the season? Our bullpen was tanked.
Yeah.
They were tanked. These guys are coming out, and I mean, Snell was part of it early on in the year. But I think, if I recall, I think like in the first 2 weeks, I don't think any of our pitchers went past 6 innings last year. I mean, it was just this inordinate amount of bullpen, and
Well,
that
you had Seth
hurt.
Lugo, who was being
And
converted into a
Waka,
starter.
and but you can't just keep, what you're doing now at game 44 or 45 or where we're at has a lot of context to what going on in game 120, game 140. You can't just blow these guys' arms out each and every day. And I think that's where Shield's done a pretty good job. Does it hurt to see De Los Santos come in? Does it hurt to see Wandy Peralta come in? Yeah, I do one of these as I'm watching, because lately they've been really bad. But the thing is out of that, there's the good side. Look at Estrada out of nowhere. This guy's phenomenal right now.
Home.
We knew he was going to be good when his name was Jeremiah.
Pitching like a champ right now.
I thought he was going to feel like I was.
you got some guys that lately, Johnny Brito has been money.
Yeah,
believe it or not. I mean, the last 30 days, these guys all have ERAs under 2.
De Los Santos should not, like I put in the chat, shouldn't pitch again unless it's a mop up or we're ahead by 15 runs, because
Johnny Meatballs, man.
Whatever, because he was lights out there for a while, and suddenly
first 15 games he was numbing. He was money. Yeah.
And
I think it's the same thing as we talked about lineups, guys. If a guy's struggling, then move him into less situations. You're making the point, Jack. It's right. It's like we talk about Tatis going for number 2, maybe down to number 5 for a while. Hey, you know what? I admire what Shildt has done. He's escalated Estrada's role every week.
Yeah.
Like at first he was the 6th inning guy, and then he went to the 7th. Now he's the setup guy.
The move he did against the Braves was genius.
Let's just talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
We're coming up on the hour, and I do want to talk about the Yankee series as we close it out. But can we just talk? I think this all pins on Suarez being the ultimate teammate, right? This past week, and he's been doing it a whole bunch. But coming in the 8th, not in the safe situation, but facing their best hitters. Also coming
to save
in
the game. Yeah.
Yes, and then the real save, But then Estrada coming in the 9th and shutting it down. And then you had Suarez coming in last night, thunder and lightning behind him, and
close it out quick. Yeah,
close it out quick. But it wasn't a save because it was a 4-run lead. And then today, Estrada 5 outs, 5 strikeouts, which teed us up to use Suarez to close out in the 10th inning.
But that was Estrada's first major league save, right?
That move. So kudos. Let's talk about that just real quick. Like masterclass by Shildt, by Ruben Nebla, and the players that were up to the challenge.
Thinking outside the box, because that doesn't happen. Because
we say it all the time. Like, why don't we bring in our closer for 1, 2, 3?
Right.
Yeah, but most closers, they're look at Hader. Their egos are just huge.
Yeah.
I mean, most relievers are. I'm not coming in a non-save situation. I get paid to get the save. I mean, you're going to have a lot of people who wouldn't do it. Suarez, he's just. I mean, I don't know him personally, but he seems like a team player to me.
Well, the thing that matter is, guys, is that we can hate on Hader, but I think and I'm not trying to put Estrada into that category along with Suarez. I'm not trying to do it, jump way ahead here. But you think back to when Milwaukee had Hader as the closer and Devin Williams as the setup guy.
Yeah.
When you play Milwaukee, if you got to the 8th inning, you were done. You weren't going to score on either one of those guys. And that's what you need. That, to me, we've all agreed, I think. The setup man in some cases, and in most cases, is more important than the closer.
Yeah.
They got to get it through to the closer so it means something. If they don't do their
Also-
job, the closer is not even in the game.
And that
Well,
was
also the-
Suarez and Hader in the playoffs. Like they were
Yeah.
lights out.
Well,
Exactly.
They were,
Yeah.
but that's
Until
problem.
the Bryce
That's
Harper.
the problem also with if you're set up man. It was happened a lot this season. Suarez has had to come in, pitch 5 out, get 5 out save. I'm like,
Yeah.
Like you're saying, eventually that's going to start taking its toll.
Yeah.
All the pitches he's throwing. So
Mhm.
if you can get Estrada to pitch a perfect clean 8th and bring, that's
Because we have to remember that Suarez has had injuries the last couple of years, and he
Yes.
has not pitched
Yeah.
a full season. So you definitely don't want to just keep taking it.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that's the
it's
reason.
funny because I got that. I was gonna say that guy that I golf with. He's a Padre fan, but not like we are. But
he's not a father.
no, he doesn't watch every game, and he says, "Do they ever win easily?" And I go, "That's funny that you say that because that's the strike against this team. It's
Mhm.
great to win close games, but gee, me Christmas, can we just have a blowout every once in a while?" Today I was watching, so to speak, on the golf course, and I'm like, "Oh, good, we're up 2-0. Oh, now it's tied 2-2. Oh, we're up 4-2. Oh, now it's tied 4-4." It's like, can we ever just have a good start, and just truly have a blowout where it's like 6-0, and we had one against the Braves. What was
That
7-1?
Sunday night baseball, that was great.
Yeah,
National
But-
television.
but
It
you need
really screwed
you
the
need a few
ESPN
more of
guys
those.
over, didn't it?
Yeah,
They didn't
so
know what
nice.
they didn't know what to talk about.
Two Sunday night baseballs in a row. The Dodgers we beat, and
They're like going, the Braves. We got to talk about the Braves. Keep people watching. It's like, get off topic here. I want to talk about Ohtani. I don't know if you saw that bunt he had.
yes. What
they-
can't he do?
It was ruled a hit, clearly an error, but he had a walk-off single on Sunday.
Oh God, you thought he'd hit
I'm
the
like-
grand slam to win the World
like,
Series. Yeah,
I'm listening to Major League Baseball on satellite. They talked about it for like 20 minutes.
yeah.
I go, I go, first, it was an extra inning game. The runner's already starting at second base.
Yeah.
I go, and it was a single. I go, wasn't a grand slam where he came from behind at the bottom of the ninth. They're down by 3 runs.
Yeah.
And I go, okay, it was I realize they have to push it, positive Ohtani. They're going to make people hate Ohtani. And it's
Absolutely.
not Ohtani's fault. But again, you sit there and go, are you kidding me? Are you kidding? I said, okay, I'm not listening to this crap. So I went to another channel. I go, okay, it's got to be over. I go, we're still talking about it? I'm like, oh my God. It was a single.
Neri, Enri, I think it's your first time chatting that I can recall. Welcome, by the way.
Yep.
Thank you for the comments. But we score 10 and shut out the next game. I mean, but that's our lefty problem. Like,
Next 2 games.
Yeah, we get shut. But that Reds game, I could kind of see they played 3 games in 30 hours or something like that. They look gassed.
Plus, they took a bus from
Tuesday.
Atlanta to Cincinnati,
Yes.
and they got in late because they had that doubleheader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a grind.
No, they
It's
really
a
did
grind.
take a
Look,
bus.
getting shut out, you never like it. Nobody likes to get shut out. I think Atlanta had gone all year. They were the only team that hadn't got shut out. And then they almost got shut out by the Padres. They scored the 1 run.
Yeah.
But look, the shutouts are going to happen, but you would prefer it happen against somebody like a Zach Wheeler or a Glasnow or, somebody that's actually a great pitcher, but it can happen to anybody. But to Henry's point, consistency is something we talk about on this show a lot,
Mhm.
and again, I'll go back. You got a series coming up. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk
a
about
little bit.
Yankees.
But we got 6 games coming up here.
Yep.
Again, you don't have to win all 6. Would you like to? Of course. But you got to play competitive baseball for all 6 games. They got the top of their line coming up as far as they're on fire hitting wise.
Yep.
And they got 3 of their best pitchers pitching against us. So, but we got our 3 best pitchers going too.
Yeah, we got
So
Darvish, Cease, and Musgrove.
And Musgrove. So I mean, here's where you got to pony up and just say, hey, you're in my house now, and do what they need to do, get it done. No excuses. You got to play these. You got to play these games.
I'm not as worried about. I don't know about the Yankee series. I feel like we've played well against them, but who knows? They are playing well, but they lost the first 2 to the Mariners. My in-laws are in town right now, and
You have to
they
listen
like
to
the
it, huh?
Yankees. But I did watch some of the past couple Yankee games.
Yeah.
They had it on the TV here, but I feel, but I can't tell you what I'm worried about. The Marlins, they're teed up to put 3 left-handers every single game. And if there's one pitcher that can destroy the Padres, it's a left-hander on a sub 500 team. And that's what the Marlins are throwing out 3 games in a row.
Well, you know what though, Jay, and I'll keep saying it. If you're gonna just keep losing to the sub 500 teams, then you're not a playoff team.
Yeah, I know.
And but I think what's aggravating to everybody, the Padres are like 15-9 against above 500.
With the second best record against 500 teams. Yeah.
And well, it's funny they say second best record. Well, you know who the first is? It's the Phillies.
With
you know what they are?
Games.
They're 4-2.
Yeah, exactly.
So hats off to the Phillies. 50 games in, they've only lost 14 games, I believe it is.
Yeah.
But they've played 6 games against playoff type teams.
Yes.
So, we'll see how that goes another 50 games. I'm going 4-2.
4-2. Okay.
Yeah.
I think we went 4-2 last week.
And I'm kind of going with this. I think we won 1 out of 3. And again, unfortunately, I think we're hitting the Yankees at the wrong time. Would have liked to see them limping in, but
hey, listen,
I think we should sweep the Marlins. I don't care who they're pitching. Yeah.
Well, can I just say again? I think if Soto plays like he played for the Padres, we got a chance. Yeah.
Against
the Yankees.
Okay. Speaking of Soto, what kind of response is he going to get?
I hope they cheer for him.
They're going to boo him.
I don't want to boo him. I say cheer. It's not
I
his
don't
fault.
want to. I'm just saying he will get booed.
I say cheer
because people in general. I know Jack follows Twitter a whole lot more than I do, but I think the general feeling of most San Diego fans is that he was the problem of the team chemistry. Whether we don't know that for sure, but that's the perception that I hear out there. Is that Soto was the problem and Hader. Those were the problem guys, as far as
same
team
this year as they were last year.
Yeah. So, I think the worrisome part to me is Soto comes back with a vengeance because he's smoking the ball right now. And
what do you think?
It's almost scary that you talk about him and you haven't even talked about Aaron Judge.
Yeah. What do you think about hitting right now for him? The whole lineup.
What do you think about the rumors were going that Soto was interested in an extension, and the Yankees were interested in it, but then Hal Steinbrenner comes out and says, "Hey, we don't got any money."
Yeah.
Was that done? Was that done for negotiation reasons? I mean, Soto is not going to take less than $500 million.
Well, who's
going to give it to him?
Exactly. Well, that's Mets probably, I would think. But this is what I find hilarious about any Boris client.
Yeah. Don't even bother.
He has mouthpieces, John Heyman, Nightingale, right, Bob Nightingale, that will put out these rumors or these rumblings to try and, because the narrative around Soto wasn't great leaving the Padres, right? Not being a team player. So they came up with all these things like, oh, well, Seidler said if he was still alive, or if he wanted to sign me, whatever. It's like he did want to sign you after 22, but nothing happened. And there's quotes from the local San Diego media where he was like, there's no money for me here. And he said he was biding his time until he was going to leave. And among other things. So I get they're trying to have this narrative, but that's where I think this was a case of there was these narratives being stoked up probably by the Boris camp. And then Hal Steinbrenner, who's, not the only owner of the Yankees, it's split up amongst the Steinbrenner family. And they're much more penny pinching than their father was. He's like, no, that's not gonna happen.
I think you're right. I don't care if he's a Boris client or not. I'll say it. You're an idiot if you, on your free agency year, sign some kind of extension in the middle of the baseball season. You're an idiot.
Yeah.
Why would you not just go to the end of the season and say, okay, now I can go with anybody. I don't have to just go with the Yankees.
Yeah.
But I still go back to the question. I know the Mets is always, I I hate the East Coast media. Sorry, I do. I hate the
Yeah,
East
they
Coast
suck.
media
Yeah,
because
no, it's
everything's
fine.
about Boston. It's about
It's
New
okay.
York.
They're
it's
not
about,
listening.
yeah. They don't ever think that anybody out west is going to
Yeah.
do anything.
Mhm.
The bottom line is though is when you got Ohtani getting 700 million,
To be a
Soto ain't
DH.
getting that.
Yeah.
He ain't getting that.
No.
No, I
And
don't
he
think he'll
turned
get
what
that.
was it? He turned down the 400 million?
444, I think.
Yeah, from the Nationals.
Nationals, yeah.
For a 7-year deal, I believe it was, or whatever it was.
Yeah,
And he turned it down. I'm not saying he's not going to get that, but the only reason he's going to get more than that is because it's 5 years later.
Yeah.
I mean, so the equivalent of inflation and all that kind of stuff.
Plus,
But
be
nobody's
honest
going to get. He's not getting Ohtani money.
No.
Plus,
He's
to be
not.
honest with you, he's hitting in the park that's built for him.
Because
Well,
of the short left field. Yeah, absolutely.
But we've asked that before.
We've
We've asked that before, though, Jack, and that don't always make sense. Okay, 'cause I go back to the days when Colorado didn't have the humidifier, and guys would, pitchers would sign up for there, and I'm like, you're an idiot.
No,
And hitters would want to leave there, and I'm like, you're really an idiot.
Yeah, exactly.
So players go.
Dante Bichette almost became a Hall of Famer playing in
Yeah.
Colorado.
And the bottom line is that I don't know, unless they just don't like the city, but Trey Turner, he didn't sign with the Padres. We know that, right? And we know the conversation that happened between him and Preller. But I'll say this about Trey Turner: he was true to himself. He said,
Mhm.
"Look, it's obviously about the money, but it's not all about the money."
Yeah.
And he went someplace where he could be happy.
He wanted to go to the East Coast. He's a Carolina kid, and he wanted to go to the East Coast.
So I tip my hat to guys like that. But you got guys that well, we both remember Kevin Brown.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't want to go to the East Coast. I don't want to the East Coast. Where did he sign? The East Coast.
The funny thing is he's to justify because the Dodgers outbid the Padres by $45 million.
Yeah,
which is chump change now. But he said was, I wanted to pitch closer to home.
Which he was in Atlanta,
right.
I think. Right?
So
yeah,
I go,
you're
you're in LA, San Diego. You want to pitch closer to home? He should have just come out and said, "Come on, guys,
just say it. Like I don't care.
I can't turn down $45 million.
Yeah, I love you guys, but $45 million.
I'm going to a team that's pretty competitive every year.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
All right. So I went 4-2. Let's go.
4-2, Jack. What are you saying?
I'm gonna go 5-1.
Whoo!
Which I'm probably wrong.
You're breaking a streak here, Jack. It hurts you to agree with me like 3 weeks in a row, didn't you?
I started losing my hair because of it.
All right. I'm gonna say 3-3. I say we win 2 out of 3 from the Yankees, but all those lefties on the Marlins and their sub 500, we're gonna lose 2 out of 3, and it's gonna drive us nuts.
One's got to be Ryan Weathers, right?
I don't. I looked at the list earlier. I don't think Ryan Weathers was one of those 3.
I think they went against Ryan Weathers, I believe, last year and just absolutely smoked him.
Yeah.
But
anywho, yeah, we'll see how it plays out.
We got to wrap this up because I got to go do another podcast.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, on that note,
6-0, baby. Doesn't mean we're not rooting for 6-0.
Exactly. We're just predicting. Thank you so much for hanging out. If you enjoy this show, Henry says 4-2. Oz, what are you saying?
I like Henry.
Hit the subscribe button and the bell so you don't miss an episode. We record Thursday nights at 8:15 Eastern.
He still got some.
He's still doing all right up there. I just
got a haircut, man. I just got a haircut. 6-0, Oz.
Oh, man.
Love you, Oz. Love it.
All right. We'll see you all next time. Hasta luego. And goodbye.
Bye, guys.